What if I told you there's a book out there that claims it can turn $10,000 into a million? I know, it sounds crazy, but that is the exact promise from a mysterious author who goes by the name the Great War God. For years, people have been talking about his secret 10-year trading manual, and today, we're going to crack it open and see what's inside. That's the literal million-dollar question, right? Can you actually turn 10K into a million just by trading stocks? Is there some secret system we don't know about, or is this all just hype? Well, according to the author, the secret is officially out. And he's not just talking about a few tips and tricks. He says this book is his entire playbook, the culmination of a decade spent battling in the markets. It's supposed to be the super rare look inside the mind of a master trader. So let's see what's really in there.
Okay, so to really get this, we're going to follow the author's structure. Think of it like a boot camp syllabus. We're going to enlist in his stock market academy, get the private's mindset down, learn the officer's tactics, figure out how to decode the market makers, and finally work our way up to becoming a trading general. Let's do it.
All right, first stop, we're enlisting. The whole book is framed like you're joining a military academy. Every single lesson is a drill, and every trade, well, that's a battle for survival. And, for profit. Yeah, the core idea here is that trading is not some casual hobby. It's a high-stakes war that demands, military-grade discipline, strategy, and serious mental toughness. You're not just learning to trade, you're training to become a soldier of the market. And the goal is to rise through the ranks, from a brand new recruit all the way up to a general. And just like in a real army, they don't hand you a rifle on day one. First, you've got to go through basic training. For our great war god, that means one thing above all else: mastering your own mind. Everything, and I mean everything, is built on top of that foundation. This training pyramid here just lays it all out perfectly. See, at the very base, the foundation is your mindset. That one core philosophy supports everything else. 10 trading methods, 100K line charts you need to know, 1,000 hours of analysis, and then 10,000 actual trades. But it all comes back to that one single idea at the bottom. So what is that core philosophy? It boils down to two things: short-term and empty position. Now, this doesn't mean you're frantically day trading. No, it's about spotting a stock that's ready for a massive, fast price surge, what he calls the pull-up. And then, and this is the hard part, having the discipline to just sit on the sidelines in cash with an empty position, waiting for that absolute perfect moment to jump in. It's all about precision, not just being busy. And to have that kind of discipline, you've got to steer clear of the traps that get almost every new recruit. The book is super clear on this stuff. Don't use borrowed money, ever. Don't use your emergency fund. Don't just follow the herd. You have to get over that fear of losing, and for goodness sake, stop trading based on gossip. Get your head straight first. Okay, so once you've got your mind disciplined like a private, congratulations, you've been promoted. Now you're an officer, and you get the field manual. It's time to learn the actual tactics for the battlefield. And this is where we get into the nitty-gritty of technical analysis. The book is packed with these chart patterns that are basically signals from the battlefield. So on the left, you've got a classic W bottom. Just picture it. The price drops, bounces, drops to that same level again, and then, boom, it takes off. That's a huge buy signal. On the right, you've got the opposite, a head and shoulders top. A peak with two smaller peaks on either side, like shoulders. That's your warning sign that the party's over. Your job is to spot these things in real time. And here is where it all clicks into place. This is a real example right from the book. See that long, quiet, flattish period at the bottom? That's what he calls the accumulation phase. To a regular person, it looks boring, but to a trained officer, it's a massive signal that something big is about to happen. And what happened? A 69% price explosion in under 3 months. That's what you're being trained to see. So you gotta ask, who or what is making these huge moves happen? Well, this brings us to maybe the most important part of the entire manual: understanding the big players, the market makers. Think of them as the generals on the other side of the battlefield. And what you need to understand is the incredible imbalance of power here. On one side, you've got us, the regular retail investors. We have limited cash, we make emotional decisions, and we're usually the last to know anything. But on the other side, the market maker. They have insane resources, a totally disciplined strategy, and they don't just follow trends, they create them. The book says these market makers almost always run the same 4-step play. Step 1, builds position. They quietly buy up tons of shares at a low price, trying not to be noticed. Step 2, washout. They'll create a sudden, scary dip to freak out all the nervous retail investors so they can scoop up even more cheap shares. Step 3 is the pull-up. This is that explosive move higher that gets everyone excited and talking. And then the final step, shipment. They dump all their shares at the peak to all the excited buyers who just FOMO'd in.
This creates this really weird shifting relationship. And the book has this amazing quote to describe it. It says, "During accumulation, the market maker is your enemy. During the pull-up, they are your friend. And during the shipment, they once again become your enemy." It's wild, right? When they're buying, they're your competition. When they're pushing the price up, you ride their coattails. But the second they start selling, you better get out of the way.
So if you can master the private's mindset and you can execute the officer's tactics, you can finally reach the top rank, the trading general. But what does that even mean? What's different at that level? Well, at the general's level, you're not just following rules from a book anymore. It's about reaching what the author calls a higher realm, a deep, almost intuitive understanding of the market's psychology, its flow. A general doesn't just see a W bottom on a chart. They feel the fear and the greed that created it. They're not just reacting to the battle, they're anticipating it, seeing the whole thing play out from above. And that journey from 10,000 to a million, look, it's definitely not sold as some get-rich-quick scheme. It's the reward at the end of a really tough training program. It's the payoff for all those hours of study, that ironclad discipline, and the perfectly timed moves. It's the general's trophy, and this manual claims it's actually achievable. Which leaves us with one last big question to think about. This book gives you this very rigid, almost scientific system of rules and military discipline. But then it says the ultimate goal is to move beyond the rules and develop an intuitive, almost artistic feel for the market. So, what is successful trading? Is it a science of rules and patterns? Or is it an art of intuition and psychology? You know, maybe the real secret this book is trying to tell us is that it has to be both.